dedicated to eastern and southern Kentucky. This is WYMT Mountain News Weekend Edition.
Good evening and thanks for joining us tonight. I'm Macy Marie. Today ended the 20th annual Wise County Remote Area Medical Event. Serving more than 1,000 patients, the past 3 days, well, they were busy. But as they packed up their things, WYMT's Laura McCourt talked with volunteers about what they got out of the experience of helping all those people.
At a RAM event, you see so many people get the help they need.
Usually we'll see about, probably about 1,500 to, 2,000, even sometimes 3,000 during this event.
But what you may not realize is that the patients' lives are not the only ones being affected.
It's God's plan for me to do this.
I've never done anything like this before.
With more than 1,400 volunteers at this year's RAM event in Wise, Virginia, there were still plenty of volunteers.
I've been amazed at how much goes into putting this together and running it.
But when the patients leave with a new pair of glasses or a new set of teeth, the volunteers leave with full hearts.
Still, stuff like this just gets me. It's why I've been a nurse my whole life, why I want to be a practitioner. I want to serve this area.
Whether they volunteered all 20 years or this is their first time helping out.
I definitely take it for granted.
It's just been very rewarding and humbling to be here.
The experience of helping those in need makes all their time spent here worth it. In Wise County, Lauren McCourt, WYMT Mountain News.
Remote Area Medical's next event will be held in Dayton, Ohio. That's on July 13th and the 14th. Firefighters say a truck crashed into a home on Barnett Road in Brodhead yesterday. Firefighters with the Brodhead Fire Department say no one was seriously hurt. They got the call around 6:30 last night, and when they arrived, they found a red truck backed into the home. The house was badly damaged, and they do not know what caused the truck to crash into the house at this time. 3 people were sent to the hospital after a car hit a passenger tram at Dollywood yesterday. Several guests received bumps and bruises, but 3 were sent to the hospital with minor injuries. A spokesperson said the guests were sent to the hospital under an abundance of caution. A Logan County firefighter has died after colliding with a tractor trailer in a side-by-side last night. Logan County deputies say the victim was Ernie Woods. The crash happened on Route 44 near Wilkinson. Troopers say the side-by-side lost control and swerved into the opposite lane, causing a collision with the tractor trailer. Police in northern Kentucky say an 11-year-old autistic boy has died after being found submerged in a neighbor's pool. Deputies say Madhu Baugh's death is believed to be an accidental drowning. The statement says the boy was found unconscious in a pool Saturday in Florence and was later pronounced dead at a hospital. Police say the boy apparently scaled a fence and took off his shirt prior to entering the neighbor's backyard. A relaxing evening at Martins Fork Lake in Harlan County quickly turned into a scare. On Friday, while a man was swimming, 2 people saw him begin to struggle and yell for help. That's when they jumped into action. In the meantime, others called 911. The 2 men were able to get that man out of the water into safety before paramedics arrived.
And my fiance started hearing help, and she was like, but I don't know if they're joking. And then we stood up and then we realized that someone was really in trouble. So I ran from here all the way to the middle, right around here.
The victim was escorted to a nearby hospital. He is expected to be okay, and we'll have a full story with all of those involved in the rescue tonight at 11.
Another hot and humid day here in the mountains, and we've seen a few pop-up showers and storms this afternoon as well. Hopefully those cooled you off a little bit. Let's go ahead and take a look at a few of those cameras. As we look at the National Weather Service camera in Jackson, you could see a few of those showers and storms over there with some sunny skies as well. You can see a little bit of that fog building after the rain. Even as we look on top of Buffalo Mountain, we're dealing with a few of those clouds here in Perry County. We've seen a couple rounds of those storms moving through today. As we scan the skies now, like I said, some areas dealing with those pop-up storms. We'll go ahead and start to zoom in on our friends down into parts of Laurel County. You can see just to the east of London dealing with a little pop-up shower, even over into parts of Clay County and a little bit into Knox County as well. We're also seeing a few pop-up storms over into Rockcastle. It can be a little bit strong at times, definitely some gusty winds and some lightning. None of these are severe though. So as we take a look over into parts of Pikeville getting a nice little downpour, even northern parts of Pike County, into parts of Martin County, and even over into Floyd as well. But as we look at satellite and radar, they just been a few pop-ups here and there throughout the day. Overall, it's not been a total washout, but we're seeing a few of those clouds starting to build as well. So temperatures, especially with those areas that's seen rain, a little bit cooler. Hazard 73, Jackson 70, and so is Richmond. But you see down into the Cumberland Valley, you can see those mid to upper 80s. But the heat and humidity really continues along with those scattered storm chances. But what about that 4th of July forecast? Have a look at that coming up in just a few short minutes. Macy.
All right, thank you, Paige. President Trump ended his Asia trip with a surprise meeting with North Korea's U.S. president to set foot inside North Korea. CBS News' Meg Oliver reports.
With a footstep, President Trump became the first sitting president to go inside North Korea.
Stepping across that line was a great honor.
President Trump crossed the demilitarized zone that divides the Koreas with North Korean leader Kim Jong-un at his side. They spent about a minute in the north, then walked back into the south.
A lot of progress has been made. A lot of friendships have been made, and this has been in particular a great friendship.
President Trump and Kim then went inside the Freedom House and spoke for close to an hour. They agreed to resume nuclear talks in the coming weeks, according to the president, who also said he invited Kim to the White House.
We met and we liked each other from day one, and that was very important.
President Trump initiated the meeting with a tweet during the G20 summit in Japan.
When I first became president of the United States, there was great conflict in this area, great conflict, and now we have just the opposite.
In his Sunday address, the Pope saluted the gesture and said he hoped it would be good for the whole world, while Democratic presidential candidates voiced criticism.
This country is no safer when it comes to North Korea.
Former Vice President Joe Biden said in a statement, President Trump's coddling of dictators at the expense of American national security and interests is one of the most dangerous ways he's diminishing us on the world stage and subverting our values as a nation. Senator Kamala Harris tweeted, "This president should take the North Korean nuclear threat and its crimes against humanity seriously." President Trump says Secretary of State Mike Pompeo will lead negotiating teams in the renewed talks with North Korea. Meg Oliver, CBS News, New York.
Meanwhile, Vice President Mike Pence delivered the keynote speech of the Faith and Freedom Coalition Road to Majority Dinner in Washington, D.C. yesterday. The president brought greetings from the vice president brought greetings from the president currently in the Korean Peninsula, talked about the Trump administration's commitment to Christian ideals, and reacted to the first round of Democratic debates that took place earlier this week. And many Democratic candidates staying busy this weekend. Kamala Harris was at the Alice B. Toklas Club annual Pride Breakfast in San Francisco today. And during her speech, the California senator attacked President Trump several times. Harris says it is important to remember those who had and continue to fight against any form of inequality, something she believes the president is not doing.
To win in 2020, I believe that we have to do what I've done before. We need to prosecute the case against 4 more years of Donald Trump. And I'm going to tell you, there's plenty of evidence. Just look at the rap sheet.
Before taking on the president, Harris will have to continue making her mark and standing out. There are 24 confirmed Democratic candidates right now. Democratic National Committee Chair Tom Perez was on Fox News Sunday to talk about the Democratic debates. Perez talked about Kamala Harris taking shots at Joe Biden for refusing to support busing. The chairman insisted voters would look at every candidate's overall civil rights record rather than deciding based on one incident. He also talked about health care for migrants, saying they deserve to be taken care of because they pay billions in taxes every year.
Biden's overall record on civil rights is clear, and the Democratic Party's overall record on civil rights is clear. And what I always want when I was running for office, and what I know these candidates want, is they want you to look at the totality of what they've done in their career.
It was one of the deadliest crashes in New Hampshire history. 7 motorcyclists, many of them Marine veterans, run down by a truck driver. And it happened nearly 2 weeks ago, but there's still a lot of unanswered questions. A community mourning. But as Mike Corin reports, they're honoring the lives lost by helping those who spend their lives in service to our country.
As they ride, they keep with them the memory of the 7 motorcyclists who were killed in the June 21st crash in Randolph. Tribute after tribute, the victims will not be forgotten.
May we bow our heads and have a moment of silence in hopes that they know how dearly they will be missed and how fondly they will be remembered.
This is Honor Flight New England's first ever bike run, raising money to help fly our veterans to Washington, D.C. to visit the memorials built in their honor.
It matters. It means the world to them, you know? It's the greatest generation, so it's time to give back.
The ride left Manchester Harley-Davidson and at the Manchester VA Medical Center a special honor for a very special man. 100-year-old Herman Herc Streitberger is a World War II veteran. He survived several prisoner of war camps. 10 years ago, he traveled on Honor Flight's first trip.
Believe me, I am speechless at being invited here today.
Thanking Herc and other veterans for their service is this group's mission.
When you actually attend an honor flight out of the airport, you never want to miss another one, and to help them out with raising money to make sure that those continue to happen, absolutely.
Mourners gathered Saturday to say goodbye to famed bounty hunter Beth Chapman. A memorial service was held in Hawaii. Family and friends said a prayer, then tossed flowers into the ocean in memory of the reality TV star. A second memorial service will be held in Colorado, where Chapman and her husband, Dwayne Dog Chapman, also had a home. Beth Chapman died Wednesday after battling cancer. She was just 51 years old. And still to come on Mountain News Weekend Edition, a young woman was murdered in Utah. Hear the community's reaction.
And the hot and humid conditions continue as we head into the first week of July. We'll break down that full forecast coming up.